What's up, guys? Shuri here, and today we're going over things from the Battle Fair Stage 3 and what is in it and what combos are good with it. We're going to start off with two things for the Avalanche. First off is going to be with the Arbitrator Avalanche, and that the Avalanche is a pretty decent gun. The Arbitrator definitely elevates it and can do a lot of the work without the Avalanche's help, of course, but it does get a lot better with the Avalanche because when people get up close to you, you have a really good shotgun, better than Avalanche has been in years. It is not the best shotgun in the game, don't get me wrong. It isn't better than something like a Joker or a Porcupine, but if you don't have something, it is a viable option now, which is not something I could say for a very long time. But it definitely does work up close if you need it to. And it can definitely replace something like a Remedy or any of the lower tier shotguns and be that kind of middle ground between a Joker and a Porcupine. It definitely can work up close. It does enough damage in that medium to short range. And if I didn't suck, definitely would have got up for it once right there. It definitely can do the work that you need it to. And if you pair it with a good assault rifle, like an Arbitrator, or in the next video will be a Chopper, you can definitely do a lot with this gun. And it can definitely be a good viable rush combo. It is the first time that it's actually been good at close range in a long time. Again, I do suggest you pair it with the gun that is good in the medium to short range as well, because it isn't the best shotgun in the world. It is just a better option if you don't already have one. As you can see here, it does what you need it to do, but it doesn't do everything. So it is something that you definitely need to just think about more if you don't already have something that works as a good shotgun. Because, as I said, it isn't the best, but it definitely is a viable gun, which is, again, something that hasn't been said in a couple of years. So, I do like that they have balanced things out enough for Avalanche to actually work if you wanted to use it. And if you compare it with a good enough AR, it does do pretty good damage to the point that you can make it all work and be able to get your team in really good positions and get a ton of kills with it. I think it's definitely better than something like a Remedy and probably more on the level of something like a Reaper. It definitely does what it needs to do. So if you don't have a shotgun, it's definitely something I would suggest going for, because it can definitely give you an increase on what damage you can do with a shotgun. But I don't think if you already have like a Porcupine or a Joker or a Dolores that this should be something you should go for. But I did want to show that, hey, it is a viable gun, especially with things like Arbitrator, but also with something like a Chopper, which is what we'll do in the clip after this. It does do a lot of damage up close, enough to be able to work as a viable shotgun. And again, it is something that most people don't think about with Avalanche, because it was not good for a long time. Ever since they nerfed it back in the day, it just never really recovered. But as you saw there, we got 22 kills, 440 points on a Saloon with a 4 at once and multiple triples. And then we did the same thing here just with the Chopper. We're going to go in, get a lot of Chopper kills. We used a throwing knife because throwing knives are the best. But as we got up close, we used our Avalanche and it does get us the kill. Right here, we are in the medium long range, so we definitely want the Chopper. Luckily, it does great damage up close too. We're going to go ahead, do what we can, get that triple, and go in with our Avalanche. Then we're going to get the orb. Go ahead, poke out, see what we can do. Wait for them to come up once we know they're here. And we just need to be a little bit careful. So we're going to try to get as much damage as we can without giving ourselves away as too much of a target. And then we go in there, get the kill with our shotgun. Because again, Avalanche does work pretty well for what it is, and I do recommend you getting it if you don't have it. So we're going to go ahead, get in here. We use a throwing knife to get them a little low. Go in, get that 4 at once. And again, this gun really can work. And when paired with something like a Chopper or an Arbitrator, a Survivor, any of the good ARs, it can really do some work and be a good option if you don't already have something. Next up is the Stingray, probably the best thing in this battle fair, I would say. It is a good option if you like how Orochi's played, but you don't want to be a terrible person, because it really does play like an aggressive version of the Orochi. It also has the fun damage that you can do when you have the charge. It just allows you to be more of a rusher and not have to camp back and be a terrible person who hurts your team, all for your KD. So, Again, if you like using Orochi, I suggest you go for Stingray, because then you can not be a terrible person. You like the theme here? I don't like Orochi people. But anyways, what you can do is you can get them to get damage like this, and then if you go with your other weapons, you can end up doing something like a chopper that shoots through them, or a Matador does the same, and you can end up doing a ton of damage on multiple people. It's actually really fun. So right here on this map, it is very good. You can quick scope like that, or you can just go in and play just like normal, and if you hit people, they will do damage to everyone around them. The one thing that this sucks with is when you do try to quick scope, it can kind of backfire a little, but if you can get enough people damaged, it can kill them all and get those triples to win those games. And right here, as you can see, we got that guy with it low, and it is going to end up damaging him and killing his whole team. And that is really what's going to save the game here. As you can see, we get that, it kills him and gives us the win. So I really do like this gun a lot, and it's so much fun to get triple kills and multi-kills on people, but it also works if you just have people one-on-one. It doesn't necessarily have to be killing multiple people through the damage of the shock. You can really just do it on its own. It doesn't necessarily need the help of anything else, because it can work similar to a Quicksilver, and it can just go ahead, kill people one-on-one, and if they're low, it can really do a lot. Or if you have something like a Bastion to back it up, that really does help. Another good thing to back it up is also an Orion. It can really just start doing work, especially if you have a lot of people together. It can do a ton. But in the one-on-ones, the Orion can really help you out, especially when you get them low and you need to be able to get more kills. But again, Bastion can do the same for assault rifles. The reason that a Bastion and Orion help so much is that it does a lot of burst damage quickly. So when you hit people for like a 3000 headshot, you can do the rest of the damage very quickly with the Bastion or the Orion, which can end up helping you get those kills. And the one good thing about this is once you have it scoped in a lot, it can do a ton of damage accurately. The only downside is until you have it scoped in most of the way, it won't do it accurately. So you do have to be careful on the quick scopes, because it will end up missing a lot more than it'll hit, just because that little circular aim like arrows, like that circle is really wide until you hold it down for a while. So while the quick scopes can work, it does end up missing a lot. So you want to have it as charged as possible before shooting. Not just because it does more damage and lets them shock people for longer, but also because it becomes more accurate as a gun itself. And it just really helps to be able to kill lots of people that are together, and you can really do a lot with this gun. You just got to play with it smart and be careful, but it is basically just a lot better than Orochi, because you're not going to hurt your team and basically just screw your whole team over every game you play. You're going to be able to be a lot more aggressive and actually help your team. So I definitely think this is way better. So if you are an Orochi user, you might want to go to this, because it's similar, except just makes you less of a bad person. Sorry, I just like making fun of Orochi users, because they do make the game a worse place. But hey, just enjoy how you play it. It doesn't matter if you're Orochi or not. As long as you're having a fun time, that's really what matters. But I'm still going to call you a bad person. Because, hey, I got to have fun too, right? So we're going to go around and just using our Bastion. It is going to help out a lot. And look at this. So right here, we need to go ahead and stop these guys from winning. So we're going to go ahead, do whatever we can. And we are able to go ahead and kill all of them. And then they use rockets to win, because they're not good people either. But it's okay, because we're going to bring out the chopper. And this gun is so good right now. It is really fun to use. It's both good when you scope and when you don't have it scoped. I like to use this with Reaper a lot. It is really fun and elevates the Reaper to a new level, and it can really help you just do a lot with it. I didn't realize I had the orb right there. I probably wouldn't have done that, but hey, you know, it happens. So luckily our team does go up in there and get it. We are going to just do what we can with our chopper, and I like to run with my rush spec with Chopper Reaper a crossbow, because you can do a lot with it. And you don't necessarily need the headshot damage to do a lot. So it just helps a lot to have that crossbow backup. If you want to see more with this combo, I can make a full video on how to use it and how to make it very dominant and what not to do, which is pretty important with that combo. But also, in addition to being able to use this combo with something like an Undying, I also like to use it with Eye, because knowing where people are is just as important as not dying whenever you see a random person. It kind of is equally as good. So I do like to use both, but on this one I ended up using the Eye, and it ended up saving us pretty hard. Sadly, we were already kind of behind quite a lot, so there's not too much you can definitely do. We got a Stingray guy getting our whole team low right there. Luckily, we ran in there, and we're just trying to get what we can. We did end up losing, though. We were already behind by so much. It was just really hard. But luckily for us, we are able to do at short, medium, and long range with this gun a lot of damage. Really, the only difference is when you should scope or not. And it just shoots so many bullets so quickly that it is crazy damage, and it can really help you just do a lot. Even if it's up close, you can do a lot, but then if people are really far away, it also can still do quite a bit of damage very quickly. And it is a very good weapon if you don't have an assault rifle. It is one of the better assault rifles in the game right now, if you ask me. It can also shoot through people and ignore their armor to get kills very quickly. I don't count on that just because it's not always, but it is something that definitely happens and can make a difference. Next up is the Matador. This is probably the last thing I would go for in this group of 4 things, but if you don't have a machine gun and you're looking for one, it does work. I do like how the scope is, where it actually matches the gun and it's not just there for show, and I really think that's neat. But it doesn't necessarily help out the gun as much. And luckily with it, you don't necessarily have to scope to make it work. So it's not that big of a deal. If you don't like the scoping part, just don't scope with it. But we are able to do a lot with it, and it does quite a bit of damage. Luckily for us, we were able to do a lot with it. And in these videos, I was mostly just trying to go for these kills. Right here, I would probably use something like a sniper rather than do this. But running around with a shotgun and Matador is so much fun. I recommend you try it if you already have the Matador, just because it was a lot of fun to do. I don't necessarily think it's the best combo, though, so don't think you're going to do too great with it, but when you do fun things, it's definitely fun. So the good thing about the Matador is it does work as intended, and it can do pretty good medium to long range damage when people get up close. Go ahead, hit them with the porcupine, and there you go. Alright guys, I hope this has been helpful, and these are the 4 things I think you should go for during the battle fair, and I hope that you guys all enjoyed, and have a great day. Thank you all to my channel members and people who donate. I really appreciate you guys. Alright, have a good day.